Hey guys, this is Faster You Fall, brought to you by FitLab, Tailwind Nutrition, Biomax and Kapiti Cycles. If you're a cyclist and you want to go faster, then let's giddy up. Hey guys, welcome to Faster You Fall 27. Brought to you by FitLab, Kapiti Cycles, Tailwind Nutrition, Biomax. Hey! And bike racing on the weekend again. Kapiti Winter Series Round 3. Up in the beautiful Kapiti coast, right opposite the Ruth Pretty Cafe. Great spot for a pre-race long black dirty old scone, if you feel so inclined. So round 3, thinking about the point situation, thinking about how to atone for some of my more recent debacles on this course. I'll tell you about what went down, how the points shook out, who won, what I learnt, and all the dirty things that went on. So, the other thing I do is I've been riding some new tyres for 3 races now, and I think it's time to give you a little bit of a review on the Vittoria Corsa tyres. Tell you about how they've been going. I'm surprised, I'll tell you that. So Kapiti Winter Series 3. Let's have a look at how the vital stats went, and I'll tell you about the race. It was painful. 138, look at that average 39. A little down, but look at the number there, 313 watts average. Normalized power, 336. That's the highest of the 3 races so far, and there's a good reason for that. The reason, see if I can, is that, and that. So I'll explain that. Breakaways, baby. Breakaways and attacks. Average speed 39, maximum 53.9. Pretty hopeless. That's my maximum speed for you. It's pretty bad. 1078 watts. An improvement on last week, and I think that's because I cut off the weights a day early from what I had been doing the week before, and I got an extra 50 to 100 watts out of that. Less muscle fibre tear. Average heart rate 152, max 167. The average was quite high, but the low maximum was lowish. Cadence 91. So yeah, as I say, the big thing is that average power 336. So let's cut how it worked out in the A grade. Let's bring up the results here. Let's look at the series points after race 2. An A grade there. Start here. So series points after round 2. FitLab first, 63 points. The KCC 45ers. I don't know what that refers to, but maybe it's rude. Good for you. 30 points. Elite Lollipops actually must be in second there with 60 points. Just behind the FitLabbers. What do we got there? Roadworks must have picked up 16. Unreal Racing on 12. Optimal Performance on 8. As far as the race for round 3, let's bring up the results here. It's a nice picture of the B grade sprint, and then we'll look at the slow-mo footage of B grade sprint as well. So what do we have lining up here? You can see the results there. We had lining up Brendan McGrath, Vaughan Pretorius, Stan Wojciechowski, me. We didn't have Ryan Cook, so I don't know why he's listed there. Matt Webb-Smith, was he there? Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure these results are 100%. Yeah, we may have had a couple more riders than that. Oh, a couple of DNFs, here we go. Chris Denham, Mitchell Kinghorn. I thought we had another couple. here's how it shook out in the actual race. Let's get on to that. So the start of A grade, we were pretty tactical from the start. We had some guys there from the Skoda team lining up, and seemed like relatively early on, guys not really working. Some guys who will kind of slightly remain nameless, staying near the back and not really pulling through, which is fine. It's bike racing. This kind of went on with guys working and sort of not working for a lap. And if we look at the average speed for the first lap, I don't know what it was. It might be quite high because we're still fresh here. So it was 39, but only because we're fresh. You know, it's quite stochastic there. The action kind of happened near the end of the first lap, where I got a little bit fruity. And right here, this is, if I zoom in here, it's me getting a bit fruity towards the turn. Right in here. Right in there. And deciding that I wanted to, have a go. I got a bit tired of waiting around. So you can see that little sector there is where I put in a burst. So the plan was to try to go away a little bit based on the fact that the bunch was not really working as any kind of coherent unit. Attack before the cone, put on some juice, and try to use a little bit of tailwind to drag me up a little bit, get a bit of a gap, and that worked. I was soon bridged by one Brendan McGrath, and we honked away there. I mean, after this point, I suspect the EP is going to be reasonably good. Yeah, average power 300, and for the next remainder of most of the lap there, an EP of 337, average power of 325. Fairly solid there, working together, and it was sort of like, in terms of how it worked out between Brendan and I there, Brendan's kind of like got more horsepower, there's no doubt about that. He would go on the front and pull very hard, and I would almost struggle to hold his wheel a bit sometimes. But then when I came through and wanted to hold a reasonably decent pace, it wasn't too hard. And I could sort of like hold a reasonably high intensity for longer. But I think it's fairly clear Brendan was the stronger of the two of us, and so he proved in the end of the race, stronger than anyone else in fact. We stayed away for a lap. At the end, or just into the third lap, we were caught. Well, he was caught. He went back to the bunch. I decided to stay away, and was bridged to by one Vaughan Pretorius, and we worked well together as well. There was a period where I was on my own. I think this is probably it there. If you really zoom in, you can probably see copious amounts of dribble. I did have a slight problem at this point where I've been trying to open a gel, and I tried to open it, and it was only open a crack, and so I was sort of pouring a little bit in my mouth, and it wouldn't really work. So I eventually got a bit annoyed with it and just tore the top off with my teeth, and of course that caused it to erupt in this sort of giant ejaculation of goo all over my right leg and my left hand, and the downside of that is when it dried, my hand was so sticky it actually started ripping the skin and stuff, and I was trying to unhinge my left hand. That wasn't great, so don't do that. Try not to get gel all over your left hand. We were caught by 4 other riders or so, 3 or 4 other guys, halfway through the second lap, third lap, halfway through the third lap, about here, And you can see, have a look at this power delivery in the last part of the race. Look how stochastic that is. Attack, 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 attack. Well, let's have a count here, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, maybe, I don't know if every one of those is a decent attack. But I recalled my lack of sprint chops from the previous couple of races and figured that my only chance was to try to get away again. So I tried. If you want to see how much I tried, that's how much I tried. A bunch. I just kept going and going and going off the front. The attacks weren't particularly convincing, but the plan was kind of the idea that if the chase did shake down from someone, that I might be able to get away regardless. So I'm not claiming these were giant crushing attacks, but they were little efforts. They came to nothing because guys kept jumping on the wheel, which is fine. Good for them. And that brought us into the last part of the race, where it got extremely technical. Maybe this last part here. Basically, it was getting so track sprintish that I suggested to Vaughan that he might like to have a little nibble up the road with me not chasing him. So he did, and went up the road with Brendan in hot pursuit. They fought it out. Brendan outgunned them on the line, I believe. Followed by Vaughan, victorious in second. And then there was another little game going on between me and Dan Wiliszewski. There was another couple of guys riding there, but Dan was well aware that he wanted to beat me in the points. So this is where it gets one of those tactical things where what do you do where you've got me versus Dan. Dan, for anyone that doesn't know, is a powerful individual. Good sprinter, and I'm not. So it was fairly obvious I needed to try. I tried a little tactic, which is to try to determine when someone was on the bike between him and I, and try to attack at that point, so he had to come around the other person a little further. He wasn't having any of it, and he stayed on my wheel. Good for him. Coming into the sprint, it was a fairly obvious affair what would happen. Dan coming off my wheel for a fine third, and me in fourth, and a couple of other guys there. The results may need a tweak. So that was how it played out in A grade. Attack after attack after attack after attack, mainly by me. And frankly, in hindsight, because this is good training for me, I think it was a good way to go. I was happy with that. Enjoyable. Let's have a look at B grade. See what happened. B grade. B grade was interesting because the last two races have been won by FitLab rider Steve O'Keefe. You can see there Matt Webber, who is a very good rider, went on a solo break for about half of the race by the sounds of it. Taking a fine victory, roughly 10 to 20 seconds ahead of the chasing bunch. There is a good video coming up in a second. The battle between Cameron Jones and Steve O'Keefe, who is it's interesting actually with Steve's data. I told him a long time ago that he seemed to have a good sprint and that his short power was actually very good, relatively, and he's built on that. We got my handy little sprinter. So let's actually look at how it went. We had Mark Coburn there in third, Toby Fuller in fifth, riding for Mayo GP, Richard Graham, Paul Rawlinson, who's a complete savage. He's obviously just training because this will be his build-in for North Island Team Series, I imagine. Let's have a look at how it went in the sprint. Here's a video I took on the finish line. Now coming in here, sorry it's not that big. This is obviously between the front guys, Matt Webber has already passed the line at this stage. So guys on the front here, Cameron Jones and Steve O'Keefe. You've got Steve O'Keefe there in black on the right, FitLab kit. Cameron obviously in the light jersey on the left here, two front guys. Now look here, something I noticed. Look at Cameron's position. He's doing the old Cavendish. He's got a very nice low body position on the bars. Look where his head is relative to his back. And you can see he's in very aero position there. And at this point, 15 meters or so from the line, it's pretty much neck and neck between them. It's a little hard to tell. I'm guessing he's just a quarter of a wheel ahead or something like that. Steve's position isn't as aero, so we might need to work on that. There's a little, and look here, he's got the little bike throw coming in. And look, maybe he was quarter wheel ahead. Look at that, boom. See how that bike throw gets Cameron maybe another wheel on Steve-O. It didn't change the result, obviously. He's got good aero position and a good bike throw. Right on the line too, good timing. So well done, Cameron. That's a good sprint. Good reducing your aero drag there. That's worth a bit. And your bike throw, you can just see from the replay there. Look at that. And throw, boom. And throw, boom. And throw, boom. See that? Nice. Coming over the line there. Fourth, I guess it really is, Mark Coburn. And look at this maniac there in the blue on the left, Toby Fuller. Coming in for a savage fifth, but really good effort. I told him last week, keep sprinting to the line. He does, look at that. Pretty close, another couple of guys behind there. There's Paul just drifting over, Bruce Cookie Cook, and a couple of trailers. So that is how the B grade sprint came. And it's always interesting to do that kind of slow-mo thing where you get to see, it's really hard in the moment to sort of concentrate on position, concentrate on bike throw and timing and all that stuff. You sort of get a feel for how it can be useful if you look at a slow-mo video like that. No footage available from A grade yet, sorry. So if we go back to data here, yeah, that is the story of Kapiti Winter Series 3. Oh, let's just cover off C and D grade. Why not? What happened? Rick Parker, look at that field, 14. Good for you. 15 with a DNF. Rick Parker taking it out from Gio Schnelling and Phil Morgan. D grade. Joe Clarkson, Elite Lollipops, Stanley Riddle from Ross Penman. So those guys are doing great. So it'll be interesting to see some updated results hopefully today in terms of points. Hoping FitLab will still be taking the lead. We'll find out. So what did I learn? Well, one thing that struck me while we were out in the break, me and Brendan, was kind of how there's a sensation where when you're in a break and it's decent, sort of what's going to happen is what's going to happen. You can relax. So what I mean by that is that you can't really control what happens in the bunch, how they react or don't react, or whether they're going to choose to chase or not. And you know, if guys are going to look around asking everyone else to do that, you just don't know that. And almost like, I think the best tactic in, you know, a breakaway with a couple of guys is, look, get aero, figure out your FTP in your drops. It's usually a few percentage points lower than it is in an upright open hip angle position. Figure it out. Try to stay there as long as possible. That is almost certainly, for anything longer than about 10 to 20 minutes, going to be the fastest way for you to ride. Punch it a little bit more solid into the head wind, and you can relax a little in the tailwind, but generally just try to sit there. For me, that's 350, 360 watts. Try to just sit there, and That's the fastest way you're going to get from A to Z. And really what happens beyond that is kind of up to the bunch. So you can relax. You know, no sprinting, nothing crazy. I mean, if you sprinted a little bit, all you're going to do is burn up into your anaerobic zone, burn some matches, probably get caught faster than you would. Just got in the drops, got aero, and relaxed. And you know, for quite a while that worked between Brendan and I. It didn't work, and that's because the bunch chased. It's okay. Bike racing, man. So let's talk about those. So let's wrap that up for Kapiti Winter Series 3. Thank you for putting on another good race. The final, race 4 this weekend, Saturday. Come out and have a look. It should be an interesting thing to see if I can somehow get Dan off my wheel early enough that he won't sprint my weak ass on the line. See if Brendan McGrath can get another win. See if anyone else wants to take it off us at the pointy of A grade. See if anyone else wants to give Steve O'Coof a run for his money in B grade, like they did this week. That'd be good to see. We've had 3 good weeks of weather in a row, so he's fingers crossed for a 4th in the middle of winter. That ain't doing bad. So another thing. Oh, thanks for Kapiti Club for putting on the races. They do a really good job, really organised, really friendly. It's really good to have these local races in the middle of winter, and with series points. I think that adds a bit of interest. So thank you. All right. So I just wanted to credit Andrew Fuller for those photos of the race he took. Thank you very much for those lovely, high definition, crisp, delightful photos of me suffering with dribble down my face. Thanks, Andrew. Good photos. So last thing, these Vittoria Corsa tyres. Now, actually, look, I'll try to do this here. Let's look at a little website called Blather Bout Bikes, and this guy has gone to quite some trouble to test rolling resistance of different tyres. These Vittoria Corsa speeds are relatively new to the market. I'm using them in 25, front and back of my Cannondale Super 6 race bike. Running 80 psi at my weight, 80 kilos. So let's have a look here. As you can see there, the breakdown. If we just look at the 23s here of rolling resistance, 24 watts for a pair. And on this guy's website, he does do like a reasonably solid comparison, but in short, the closest tyres behind them, which I can't remember what they are, but have a look at his website and look at the list, are 3 watts behind for a pair. Now, that's the closest ones. I mean, the average is probably somewhere like 5 to 7, I think, from memory on the chart. As I say, go and have a look. Now, 5 to 7 watts at 40k an hour, you know, it could well be the difference between jumping on, when you're really super on the rivet, getting on the brake or not. Obviously, you'll take it, and really the question is, well, price and durability, because, well, who's not going to want to take that advantage, right? Well, price, I think I forked out, you know, these will set you back anywhere between, depending on where you get them, but you can find them online, like pretty decent prices. You can get them from your local bike shop for not crazy prices either. Capital Cycles has them, and so they're in line with the normal tyres. It's height more expensive, but not much. If you're using them on your race bike, it doesn't matter. And durability, well, I've had them on my race bike now for, say, 5 training rides, say 5 hours or 7 hours there, and on 3 races, and they are perfect so far. Now, I know that's not a lot of time, but you can sort of get a little bit of a feel by looking at them after those sort of rides, how chipped up and chunked out the rubber is. You know, sometimes you get bits of crap stuck in them, or you get little bits of glass embedded in them or something like that. They don't have any of that. The compound on the middle is actually quite hard, I think, which helps the rolling resistance. And maybe part of the benefit of that is it's actually a little bit more resistant to bits of crap going into them because of the harder compound. I'm pulling that out of my ass. I don't know if that's true, but it seems about right. You can almost feel it with your fingernail when you kind of dig it in. So really happy with the Vittoria course of speed. I'm going to stick with them for now. I've switched from Continental GP 4000S in 25s, which is sort of the mainstay tyre of choice for most people doing almost anything on a bike because they're so awesomely reliable. And that reliability was a big question for me. I think this has been partly answered now. Tick reliability, tick speed, and tick price for the new Vittoria course of speed. So I'm going to stick on the Vittoria course of speed for a while. I have had terrible results with Vittoria tyres in the past, which is why I was maybe a little over skeptical. Just with that situation where the compound or whatever led itself to this situation where you get little bits of crap working its way through and puncturing, but not these. Vittoria course of speeds. I'm sticking with them for now. I don't know if I'm going to use them on my training bike, just on the basis that I haven't had that long with them and the Contis are so indestructible and so good. But as they prove themselves over time, it's possible I might. Obviously on training bike you're not so worried about the speed aspect and the drag, but potentially they'll prove themselves even more reliable than the Contis. More reliable than the Germans. I mean, that is really saying something. When the Italians become more reliable than the Germans, things in the world are going seriously pear-shaped. So that is Vittoria. Course of speeds. I'll cut it. I will cut it there. Thanks for watching. As always, it's brought to you by FitLab, Tailwind Nutrition by Max Cable Cycles. If you would like a coaching plan from me, you can email me at steve@fitlab.co.nz. Go to our website, fitlab.co.nz. We will have 2018 FitLab kit dropping soon, available via the website with a better interface and new plans on the website soon. Keep an eye out for that. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Thanks for watching / listening to Faster You Fall, brought to you by FitLab, Capital Cycles, Tailwind Nutrition and Biomaxa. If you'd like to get in touch for a coaching program or testing, you can get hold of me, steve@fitlab.co.nz, or go to fitlab.co.nz. Talk soon, guys.